Welcome to 535. I'm Mariana Sotomayor, congressional correspondent at Puck News. We have a lot of interviews this week, and we may have a celebrity sighting on today's show. Fact check, we do. Rainn Wilson, famous from The Office, is going to be here today. But first, I have a celebrity within the House Democratic Caucus, Congressman Brad Schneider, Democrat of Illinois. He's also the chairman of the New Democrat Coalition, a pretty pragmatic group who likes to get a lot done and focus on policy, which is what we're going to talk about today. Congressman, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Did you say you're a celebrity?
I don't think so.
Okay,
but,
well, you know.
Rainn Wilson is a celebrity.
Yeah. You're very well known up here, though, and you've got a lot on your plate this year. And last year too.
It's a busy time in Congress.
Yes, and there's possibly a lot on the horizon for Democrats if you all take back the majority, and I know that that's what the New Democratic Coalition, the New Dems, have been working on. Past year, it's been a lot of working groups, conversations, what are the policies we focus on, and now you have the New Dems American Promise agenda. So for those who don't know, what you all are promising, very briefly, lower costs, less chaos, real solutions. And under that banner, dozens of different policy areas that you would love Democrats to target, especially if you all are in the majority. Under that, it's give Americans a fair shot to get ahead, tackle the most difficult challenges, and restoring faith in government, fighting corruption. It's 65 pages, delved into all of that.
65 pages, one-page summary.
There you go.
Look, the devil's in the details,
yeah.
And there's no one single policy that's going to address what Americans are looking to their government for, but there is a principle, and I think the basic principle is government working to make life better for the American people. And what we've seen with this Republican administration is the exact opposite. Costs are rising. It's just getting harder for families to make ends meet, to get ahead, to provide for their kids. The H.R. 1 Republican bill, their number one priority, one big beautiful bill that they called it and then had to change the name. It takes healthcare away from tens of millions of people. It cuts SNAP. It just has raised prices, made life more difficult for American people. What we're focused on is fulfilling the American dream, helping the American people provide for their families, pursue their aspirations, and get ahead.
Yeah, one thing I've heard from House Democrats for the past year is that word affordability and lowering costs. That's definitely number one for the caucus's agenda. What you all propose, policies, as you mentioned, healthcare, housing, energy, family care, household essentials like groceries and internet, furniture even.
Right.
So there's a lot in here. It's obviously the first kind of go at what all these priorities are, but when you are talking to leadership, what are you saying, hey, let's prioritize these first under lowering costs? Well,
I think what the first priority is to listen to what our voters are telling us. Mm-hmm. What do they want us to focus on? And the economy is number one. And this isn't new. It goes back to Clinton. Is the economy stupid? Mm-hmm. When the economy's growing, when people feel secure about their future, that they can provide for their kids and secure their retirement, we can tackle a whole lot of other problems. When they don't feel secure, it's hard to do anything else. So it's about investing in local communities, creating quality, well-paying jobs that provide job security, putting more money in people's pockets so they can afford their groceries, their housing, their health care, and trying to bring down the cost of those daily essentials and the cost of housing and long-term issues as well. That's what New Dems have been focused on, have always been focused on, but in this moment, this is the priority. At the same time, people are so frustrated by what they're seeing in this administration, the level of corruption. The way I say it is the stench of corruption permeates every action this administration is taking. And so I think the American people are looking to Congress, and in particular the Democrats, to address that, because corruption eats at the very roots of our democracy. So it is about restoring voting rights to all Americans. Every citizen should be able to cast their vote, know their vote will be counted, and trust the tally of the election. It is about dealing with the issues of self-dealing, too many people looking to benefit themselves rather than benefit the people they're working for. And so these are two of the key issues that we're working on.
Yeah, on that corruption piece, that's something that Democrats are also hoping to tackle, potentially in the majority. You mentioned, potentially reforms for Congress, reforms obviously for the White House and the administration. Also the Supreme Court. right? That's a little
It's
bit
government.
of what it's all across the board.
You learn in 5th grade the 3 branches of government: the
Yeah.
legislature, the executive branch, and the judiciary. And what the founders, I think, knew is that the American people put a trust in the folks working on their behalf. And the higher up, the president has the highest level of trust, representing every American. Each of us in the House represents our district. People have a right to know that we are working on their behalf, and that we're not, with the president's case, it seems like every single time anything's happening, there's a hand in the till, and if you follow the arm, it always goes back to the president.
Besides just these planks, obviously New Dems have gone even further, looking at every possible aspect of policy issues. You know, Jeffries has been saying for the past year, the agenda will fall into the buckets of affordability, healthcare, and corruption. You all include, for example, immigration, education, workforce, even rural voters. I mean, you guys go a lot further to help a number of people. Not to say that that's not going to be adopted potentially for the whole caucus, but tell me a little bit about those buckets. Why is it important to also
well, I think it's important that the buckets you can put things into is, number one, giving every American a fair shot to get ahead. We all just want a fair chance. Give us a level playing field and give people the opportunity, clear the obstacles, put in the guardrails, and let everyone pursue their dreams. The second thing, and this is where I think New Dems stand out, is we are ready, and we have done as we have done in the past, to tackle the big problems the country faces. So that includes immigration, border security, and immigration reform that puts us on a track of growing our economy and living up to our values as a nation. It's also dealing with healthcare. It's dealing with education. You run down the list of issues that for too long, especially with this Republican Congress, they put their head in their sand or they turn their back from the problems everyday Americans are facing. We want to tackle those head on and give people hope.
So one thing that I know a number of Democrats are kind of figuring out right now, you guys have your policies, it extends beyond the New Dems, just talking to leadership and saying, hey, we should prioritize this, hopefully you can support my bill or put that as part as, HR 1 to 10. Those conversations are happening now. You all introduced this agenda last month. What are those conversations like with leadership? Did you just hand a paper over to Jeffries?
No, we work hand in glove with leadership. I work well with the chair of the Progressive Caucus, Greg Casar, as well. We're talking with each other. Leader Jeffries has a meeting of the various groups within the Democratic Caucus every week called Crescendo. Yeah. We're talking about where the priorities. Our focus, and this represents my just general philosophy, if you try to do everything at once, that's a recipe for failure. If you set your priorities and lay down foundation and then layer upon layer, we can do everything given enough time and enough commitment of working together. Yeah. Let's start with the things that will have the biggest impact. This is right now trying to make it easier for Americans to pay their bills, to get to the end of the month. We're sitting here early in June and people might be feeling pretty good. But by the time we get to the 20th or 25th and people are looking at their bank accounts and there's no money left to pay those last bills of the month, people are making the choices of what do they cut or what do they extend. That's what we want to give people a chance to say at the end of the month. They're not looking at where to cut, but how they can save a little bit more to plan for a vacation or for the retirement.
Yeah, you mentioned, at least I think this is what you were alluding to. You said, trying to squeeze in everything into something that, and it just makes it hard for voters to understand what exactly Democrats have passed. Republicans are seeing this issue with the one big beautiful bill. I kind of want to segue to the promise ultimately that this agenda makes, which is, you all say it's a commitment to America, and that, quote, when Democrats are in power, we will work to deliver real solutions, not empty promises. And I've just been talking to Democrats, this is where they might have some hesitancy in their majority, because there's so much you all want to get done. There's so much you want to push back on. And Trump's still going to be president. We'll see what happens in the Senate. How do you win back trust with voters when, sure, you might be able to pass scores of pieces of legislation quite quickly, but you might have a Republican Senate and Trump who might veto everything, right? And voters are still going to feel like the economy isn't working for them.
There's a difference between passing a bill in the House and making it law, getting it through the Senate and signed by the President, as you noted. The New Dems' American Promise is our governing agenda for the rest of 2026. It's our vision forward, but it's also what we're focused on into 2027, 28, on to the future. It is a long-term view because, as I said before, we have to lay solid foundations to secure our future. And that's what we're working with our colleagues within the New Dems and across the Democratic caucus, and we'll reach across the aisle. What we want to do in the next Congress, when the Democrats have the majority, when Hakeem Jeffries is the Speaker of the House, is set a course that will move us forward. We know that President Trump is going to likely veto anything that might pass the House and the Senate if it doesn't specifically benefit him. We also know he's transactional, so we'll look for those opportunities to have some wins. I switched to baseball analogy.
Sure.
Singles and doubles, not necessarily home runs, but focused on showing the American people that the Democrats have a vision to move the nation forward, earn the right to have the chance to govern, electing a Democratic president in 2028, and governing in a way that delivers on the promises that we're making today in 2026.
Looking ahead, the New Dems are already the largest ideological faction within the House Democratic caucus. I think there were lessons learned after 2024. There was voter pushback to the more far left perspective, let's say, right, that exists within the Democratic Party. To be able to win the majority, there's a lot of Democratic candidates in swing districts trying to flip Republican districts. I'm sure you are also talking to those candidates, trying to get a sense of, would you support these policies? I'm sure you've handed over the agenda so far.
Absolutely, and we're talking to candidates in district that we're trying to flip from Republican to Democrat. We've endorsed 29 candidates so far this election cycle. 21 of the 25 red to blue, the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committees targeted are members are endorsed by the New Democrats, will be members when they're elected. So we'll continue to grow. The common thread through all of these are people who know the districts they're seeking to represent, understand the issues that people care about, and are committed to coming to Washington to get things done on their behalf. New Dems have a lot of mottos, we say. We're the majority makers, and we have been. In 2018, 33 of the 40 seats flipped that gave the Democrats majority were New Dems. We continue to grow, as you mentioned. We're at 114, the largest caucus. When we win the majority, we'll grow even more. So we are the majority makers. We also get things done. We're the ones who solve problems by working across the entire caucus and reaching across the aisle. And we're the ones who look to the future and have a vision, not just to the next election,
sure,
but what's going to deliver for our kids and our generations to come.
Well, Congressman, I only have a couple seconds with you. I want to do our 5:35 1 minutes.
Okay.
Just quick, rapid fire question and answer.
I rise with the intention of disrupting the normal business.
I ask unanimous consent. I ask unanimous consent.
The senator from Nebraska is recognized.
The gentlelady is recognized.
The gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
What is the most difficult part of the job?
I will tell you the hardest part right now is the inability of the Republicans to get anything done. Last week we had 2 voting days canceled. That was the 11th and 12th voting day this year already. We started talking before. We don't know what we're going to be able to bring to the floor and vote today. So the inability, I trained as an engineer in college, I worked in business. You set a plan, you work your plan, and you check off things as you get them done. The Republicans don't seem to have a to-do list.
To that point, though, do you have a favorite Republican across the aisle?
I have a lot of good friends across the aisle. We work together on the Ways and Means Committee. I think we all have extraordinary relationships. One of the things I'm most proud of is as members leave, you oftentimes forget them. I don't want to lose those friendships, Democrat and Republican, and I've stayed close with friends on both sides as they've left Congress.
And what's your plan for August recess or for the New Dems?
For the New Dems, we'll be going around the country, talking to people in districts, especially those swing districts, listening to what's on their minds and helping them understand that the New Dems are prepared to deliver to make their life better.
Well, Congressman, thank you so much.
This
is your debut on 535. We hope you come back.
Would love to.
If you come back, we're going to be talking about affordability. We've talked about it already. It is the word of the day. Stay tuned.